Thanks for listening to the Building Better Business podcast. I'm Dr. Bryan. I'm an educator, business owner, and your host. Our podcast provides a platform for business leaders to share their personal stories and how they've transformed their business success by focusing on marketplace trust. Join us in building better business. Welcome back to the Building Better Business podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bryan, and we have Essence Unique returning from a previous podcast. I've asked her to come back and continue our conversation because the first was so good. Unique is the founder and CEO of E&E Co. And we'll talk today about her interaction with customers. We definitely want to talk about her award, winning the Spark Awards in 2023 with the Better Business Bureau. And we'll certainly want to spend some time talking about her vision of serial entrepreneurship as we go forward. Welcome back, Unique.
Thank you so much for having me. The first episode was great. I'm so excited.
Wow, wonderful. Thanks. Well, let me rearrange my order. I think we start right away. Let's talk about the 2023 Spark Awards.
Okay.
What are the Spark Awards for our listeners?
The Spark Awards is awarded to entrepreneurs, businesses that amplify leadership, community outreach, and doing business better with trust and amplifying the 4 C's, right? So that is the Spark Awards.
Yeah. So the Better Business Bureau has two different awards. One is called the Torch Awards. Those are for businesses that have been around for a while. And then they started the Spark Awards, which are for businesses, I think, less than 4 years of age. And your business was started in 2020.
Yes.
So you fit pretty well into that. And you joined the Better Business Bureau just a few years ago.
Oh.
Last year,
actually.
Last year? Yeah, so very recent.
Yeah.
And can I ask why you joined the Better Business Bureau?
As I said before, transparency, trust is a part of our core values. So we mesh perfectly well with
the Better Business Bureau is all about marketplace trust. Absolutely.
And so we wanted to, and something else we talked about before, like ensuring that our customers know what they see is what they get, and that we're saying and abiding by what we preach, what we show. We wanted that extra stamp of approval. We wanted people to know that they could trust buying from us as an e-commerce business. We wanted people to know that we were a real business and we truly cared about not just their positive reviews, but if they had complaints, if we did something wrong. We wanted people to know that there was not an extra layer of protection, but that there was somebody there an organization there that also cared about them, and that they could know that we cared about their trust in us.
Right.
So that is why and I'm someone who, before we used the Better Business, before we were a part of the Better Business Bureau, I actually used the Better Business Bureau. So I, not to go into too many details, but had an issue with fairly large business, and the Better Business Bureau helped get that complaint taken care of and settled and filed and fixed, and made sure that this company that was very large paid attention to my very small complaint that was important to me, and I wanted our customers to have the same thing. So our nonprofit that we started Enduring Minds in 2018, we became an accredited charity with the Better Business Bureau. So from that, once we started E&E Co., we had to become a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the Better Business Bureau is focused on building marketplace trust. It advocates for customers, as you talked about. But on the business side, it's a community of businesses who believe in marketplace trust.
Right.
And in fact, the new campaign currently for Better Business Bureau is the sign of a better business. Mm-hmm. And indeed, that's why this podcast is named Building Better Business. Because what does that mean, to build a better business? Well, it means to build a business that exhibits marketplace trust. And how do you do that? Well, You do it through the 4 C's.
And just that line, though, building better business, is something that speaks with me, because I often say, like, we didn't want to just serve tea that was better. We wanted to have a customer that did. Have a company that did business better.
Yeah.
Well, we want to have a company that cares about the customers, that care about the environment, that's doing everything that we can to put our best foot forward in this world. So we don't leave it better than worse than we found
Love
it.
it.
We want to leave our customers better with every sip, whether it's just simply by what they're putting in the body or an interaction that they had with us. We want to leave our environment better, because we wouldn't be able to have the beautiful plant that we get to enjoy tea if it wasn't for, this earth and the environment.
And 2 things about that. Number one, we want to be proud of our businesses.
Right.
We don't want to duck our head in shame as we talk about our businesses and our business practices. And that's part of it, right? As we go forward. So let's talk about the Spark Awards. So the Spark Awards, if you look down inside the content of the Spark Awards, it's actually built on the 4 C's. And you, when you go through the Spark Awards, you applied, or you were nominated, one of the 2, and then you went through this. You had to supply a bunch of information.
Yes.
There was a vetting process. There's judges. Was there a learning process for you through that? Was it useful for you as a business owner? Did it help you build, grow? Or?
Yes. The application was tedious isn't the word,
intense.
but
It's pretty intense.
it is intense.
Yeah.
It's long. It's a long process. And I did not think that I was going to win. As I said, we became a part of the Better Business Bureau last year, and so I was just making connections. I only talked to one person here, so she asked me to come to a networking session where they kind of gave you all the some information that you would need to be better prepared and help you learn. And so it was a learning curve, and it helped me to. I talked before about writing everything down, so a part of this process doing the application, it was helpful to reiterate our goals, and it was helpful because we have been so busy since 2018 that something that I am trying to be intentional about changing is celebrating our wins and the things that we do, no matter how small they are.
Yeah.
So seeing the things that we have been able to accomplish written down in an application form, it was good to see. Kind of reiterated that we're doing the right things, we're on the right path. You just gotta, keep pushing, keep going, and to celebrate those wins, and then to, not thinking I was going to win, because you see the names of the past winners and winners of the Torch Awards, and these are large companies, and we're nowhere near that size. So when we found out that we were winning, it's an amazing experience, and it has been very beneficial. One, to be able to say that we're award winning, but two, to just be noticed in the Columbus community, that we're dedicated to our community, to giving back, and to being the best leaders for our business that we can be.
Yeah, great, wonderful. The process is, I think, really important to go through. It's as we all know in business, it's very easy to get down into the weeds, right? To get down in all the details of the business, which we have to do. That's part of the business.
Right.
But as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as people in charge of the vision and future of the company, we have to get out of the weeds every once in a while.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got to see that bigger picture. And I think the process, like the Spark Awards application, it kind of forces you to do that, to think about your values, to write them down, as you keep saying.
As I recently learned, you have to make sure you take time to work for your business, because we're always working in our business, especially if your business is home-based or if this is your full-time job every day. Like, it never stops. There's always and then more so when you're e-commerce, customers can always reach out to you. They can always message you. They're always placing orders. It literally never stops. So taking the time to work on your business, work for it, and as if it was someone else's instead of working in it, so you can see the bigger picture and make sure you're still working towards the goals and celebrating the wins and the losses, because those are learning experiences. So
two things out of that I'm thinking about. One is how do you, because you're a home-based business, you run this out of your home. How do you create the lines, the barriers, the walls, and then number two, how do you get out of the weeds? How do you come out of the weeds and think long term? Do you have a process or a system you go through?
The big part of my process is writing those things down. I also feel like for me, when I have to set boundaries and take a break and step apart, because of my neurological conditions, my brain and my body tells me to. So when
Stop.
We've done enough for the day.
Okay.
So I get to have that indication where it's okay. I need to stop for a minute, but it still can continue. I think it's just important in trying to stick to your boundaries. For me, I separated our business and our personal line. I know it's a lot. It's not always feasible when you're first starting a business. However, that cost was necessary for me because it allowed me I can put this business phone in my office and I don't have to be available after 8 o'clock.
Just turn it off.
After 8 o'clock, that's my husband and my son's time. And on our off day for both businesses, we don't work. I try to enjoy, and that doesn't mean that we won't work on an order or anything like that. Orders can still come in, but that time is for our family, for our son, and for us to rest and recoup, so the next day we can get back to making orders. And there's times where it'd be easier to get the big order done on our off day when nothing else is going on, but it's also very important that we spend that time together and with our son, because if you work with your spouse, that's also important to separate.
Very, very much. That's a whole other podcast we'll have to get to. Yeah, we won't dig into that right today.
We'll bring Shane next time, and we'll let him talk about
absolutely.
that. But that's a whole nother thing. But just if you have kids, and even if you don't, just for yourself so that you can be okay for your business. Because if you're not good, if you're not ready to go, then you're not going to be able to put your best foot forward each day for your business. And now that I've learned what we were talking about, like working for my business instead of in my business, I've set 2 hours on my calendar a week to work for my business instead of
you put it on the calendar.
Yes, if it doesn't make it in a calendar, it's not going to happen. And sometimes, and I know people don't like that you have to say it, sometimes you have to schedule the date night. You have to schedule the kid play dates and the kid times, and you have to schedule the alone time so you can take a shower and get your hair done. But if you have to schedule those things, and if you have to put it in a calendar to get it done, do it, because it's important.
I think that's such an important lesson that particularly new entrepreneurs have to learn. Yeah. And maybe some old ones too.
I think we all do. We all need that reminder, like, you're doing too much, you're working too hard. I mean, I guess some people say you can never work too hard, but
we always, there's all these different words for it, right? Work-life balance, and all the rest of the phrases. Yeah. But when I talk about it, I always talk about personal and professional lifestyle goals, objectives. We work to live, right? And so what does that mean for us individually? And when you're an entrepreneur, the business is always there. We know that. So we have to be even more purposeful and deliberate in the way that we make appointments with ourselves in our calendars, right, to work on the business, and to work on our own personal lives.
Yes.
Right.
I even schedule my mindset practice. Oh. Meditation is something that's very important to me. I am also a meditation leader. Yeah. I know, I don't know if I said that earlier, but
you did not.
I do have a lot of things that I do, but I schedule my time to meditate in the morning before my son is awake. That's my alone time. It's my time to journal, to write down what the plans are for the day, make my to-do list, without actually doing anything. Make my loose leaf tea, enjoy my cup of tea, and have my time. And that mindset of even if it's a bad day and I need to write out some mantras, or I need to write out the things that I'm grateful for, the goals that outside of our yearly or quarterly goals. So what are the goals today? What are the goals for this week? If those are the things that I need to do to be in the right place mentally to get through the tea bags for the day, then those are the things that I do, and that time is scheduled. It's on my calendar, and that's fine. And the alarm goes off every morning, and that's what I do.
I think it's a wonderful practice, and I support that. The Focus 4C newsletter is really designed just for that. Yeah. We know that business owners, managers, executives, we know they're busy. But it's really important to take time, even if it's a couple of minutes every morning, and think deliberately about how you're living your values out. Yeah. So the Focus 4C newsletter, we focus on there's 20 character virtues, and what we're doing is we're just going to highlight one of those a month, and we just want business owners to think about that one virtue for the month and how does it impact their own personal lives, their family, their relationships, and then how does it impact their business? Right? How's it lived out in their business, and what is the impact of that? Right. So it's important to thoughtfully take time to be thoughtful about what we're doing.
Right.
I always tell my students that too many people just bumble through life. That's the word I use. They bumble through life. Yeah. And you can do that, but the better way is to be more thoughtful and reflective in terms of what we're doing.
Intentionality, and that is so important to me. It should actually be one of our core values because it's something that we put into our business across the board, and it's something that I live my life by. Intentional about my mindset practice, about meditating, about writing everything down, intentional about learning from everything, whether I view it as a mistake or when, intentional about what we put in our bodies and what we eat and we drink, even the words that we say, right? Framing things so it comes from a space of gratitude versus that it's an issue or whatever the case may be. All those things. And from a viewpoint of our business, we are intentional by putting a handwritten note in your order, giving you a honey stick with your order, appreciating our customers. After every 5, you get a discount code. Things like that, and also intentional in what we say and what pictures we show, what we put on our website, what we put in our ingredients, what we put, how we show up to events, how we present ourselves to our customers, even by the way that we dress and that we speak. Just that intentionality can change your viewpoint and can definitely change your business.
Yes, I was just going to ask you about all the different ways that you interact with your customers, and you have just answered that.
Yes.
Right. So for what I'm hearing from you is that your customers are just not paychecks coming in.
Oh no, our customers become family. They're friends. They come to our home for tea tastings. As we were talking about, if customers create blends or they have a question pertaining to what tea would be better, for example, for high cholesterol, those are opportunities for us to create community. And even if they don't buy the tea that they're asking a question about, they know that they have a place where that they can come to and ask the question, or something that they can refer to their friends. I like, and that's one reason I like that our family is visible in our businesses, because people see us out, and they they know that if they see us out or they see us on social media, we're the same across the board. Who they've spoke to when they've emailed our tea company is the same person that they see on our Facebook page, or if they see me out at a book event and I'm not selling tea, they still know that what we say and that we're doing and who we are is actually who
So how do you scale that? Let's take your business and let's multiply it by 10. Mm-hmm. So now you've got employees. You've got maybe you have a warehouse. You have a distribution center, and you can't be everywhere. Mm-hmm. How do you scale that? What do you think?
I think our family can still be visible as far as marketing, advertising, and social media, those aspects. Of course, we're not going to be able to be at every event, but I think it goes to what you said, having our culture, our character, and who we are go throughout our company. Our employees, our independent contractors, our volunteers, hopefully will exemplify the same character traits that we try to exemplify at events. And even if they present differently than we do, as in how they speak or their experience with tea, hopefully they're able to, at the base, share their love of tea or the love for our company with the customers that they interact with.
Well, you need great story, right? About about culture and about how others, whether they're employees, whether they're partners, or even distribution outlets for us, how they represent us. And if they're that last contact with the customer, yes, right? That's where the magic happens. Mm-hmm. And that magic can be either really bad or really good. And again, it's important when you're in business, right, to get it right. You have to have the right processes, procedures. You have to have the right systems in place.
Yes.
And those standard operating procedures won't ideally reflect the character and the culture that you're trying to put forward. Yeah.
And I think it's not just it's the entrepreneur's character is the character which may be different from the character that you want to instill in your business. Just write everything down, know what your core values are, and don't stop.
Oh yeah, write it down. Yeah.
Write everything down.
Yeah, post it on the wall or something, right?
Yes,
to
write it in your business plan. Write it in your operating practices. Write legal contracts. Write everything down.
Write it all down. It's a daily affair, isn't it? In business. And by the way, unselfish plug here for the Focus 4C newsletter. Comes out every week, and the Focus 4C newsletter is centered on character development, and it's simply an easy read. Reflect on these character traits this week. How do they fit with you personally in your personal and professional life? But then also, how do they live out in a business type of setting? Mm-hmm. And again, it kind of ties into where you're at. There, you have to spend time thinking about this stuff. If it just happens, well, then it'll just happen, mm-hmm. right? You don't know what you're going to get. But if you're thoughtful and you're thinking ahead, and like you say, writing it down, making sure that you're deliberate, I guess, and about what you're doing. you can build that culture, that value system, that image and personality for your company that you're trying to portray.
Yeah. And I know one thing I've learned is we're not going to have the answers for everything, even as prepared as you can be. And anyone who truly knows me knows I plan from A to Z and back again and then back again. And there are still things that you're never going to be fully prepared for. But simply being intentional to pay attention to things, to watch out for things, to know how you're feeling, to know how your business is progressing, where you want it to go, and intentional about those goals, even when things come up that you're not prepared for, or if something just happens, or there's a mishap, and you have to learn from that experience. If you're intentional about simply that, learning from every experience, it can help you continue to grow towards your goals.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's back up just a little bit. When you launched ENET in 2020, how many products did you start with? How many brands of tea or versions of the tea did you start with?
Wow, I don't even think I would probably have to count. We had the fertility blend, the calming blend. We had four.
Yeah,
we
four.
had four blends when we first started.
And I looked at your website. It scrolls down. There's a lot more than four.
There's a lot more than we went from those four blends, nausea blend, our calming blend, and our detox and fertility blends. We went from just those four and the loose leaf ingredients that make those blends to over 40 selections.
40.
And not just wellness blends anymore. We also have traditional blends, things like that, blends that have been created by customers, other wellness blends like our bold, like we were speaking about, our men's wellness blend and our lactation blends. Our tea company has grown with our family. So our fertility blend we used when we were trying to conceive. Our lactation blend I used when I was breastfeeding our son and donating breast milk to babies during the formula shortage. Our company, and now our son has a blend. His favorite is blueberries, so he has a blueberry blend. It has literally grown with our family. So it's been beautiful to watch and be a part of.
Yeah, I love the story. I love talking to entrepreneurs as they build their businesses, because their businesses can be so personal.
Yes.
Right, and it's very clear that this business comes out of your heart and your passion in terms of what you're trying to do, not just professionally, but personally.
Yeah, I think I'm lucky as an entrepreneur. We didn't start from we're gonna make a whole bunch of money. You know, it wasn't that for us. We always had the goal to find ways to build generational wealth and provide things for our future children that we may not have been prepared to receive from other generations in our family. That was important to us. However, we never said, yep, we're going to start these businesses to make money. It's always been just a part of our life. When I started, what we didn't mention is I'm a 2-time author. When I started writing...
Wait a minute, an author on top of everything else.
I am. I wrote a children's book, and I wrote a biography of my life. When I started writing, it was simply to deal with being diagnosed with my chronic illnesses and going through surgeries and things like that. I needed a way to make sense of things in my head and just be okay. And writing helped me heal mentally and emotionally. And throughout that process, a lawyer told me that I should turn it into a book. She thought the story was inspirational. So I self-published my book, and I used the funds from that, and still the proceeds from that started my nonprofit organization, Enduring Minds, which I started before ENET Co. We started in 2018, and we act as a resource for people like me who have chronic or rare neurological conditions. We have a wig donation program. We offer a scholarship every year. We host events, have advocacy, try to raise awareness and things like that. So I've been lucky in the sense as an entrepreneur that everything that I've been able to do has been a part of my life, which is interesting because now with where social media is, so much of business is the story, right?
Right.
Like
Absolutely.
how you got started
Yeah.
and why you got started and behind the scenes and all of that.
Customers want to connect
Right.
with their vendors.
Right. They want to connect. They want to build a sense of community. So
Yeah.
it's been a blessing that we're able to do that authentically because this literally is our life.
Yeah.
This is what we've had to go through. So with the foundation, it really put in us and taught me that not enough businesses or people give back.
Yeah.
You know, and no matter how we think about our own situations, we are all have so much that we can give, whether it's information or even just a listening ear. So even in the foundation, we started what we were looking for. When I became diagnosed, there was one community for the illness that I have called pseudotumor cerebri. There's one nonprofit. And then from that, I have epilepsy and I have Chiari malformation, and then there's no place for people who may have more than one or who know things like that.
Yeah.
So there's no place you can really go to say, hey, I'm going through these things. There's no cure there, and it's rare that even some doctors don't know what I'm talking about. Who do you ask? When the people that you're supposed to ask don't have the answer. So I just wanted to create a place of support. And now with the tea company, we're able to share what we were also looking for in the market, which is all natural tea.
Well, I'm glad you brought up enduring minds because we definitely needed to talk about that. So what's great about this is again the fourth C in 4 C's is community, and really every business needs to identify in their own way what does that mean to give back to their community. Businesses have it's more than an obligation for me. It's a passion. They need to be involved in it. They need to be building communities, right?
I agree.
I mean, that's where their customers are at,
Right.
and it comes back to them in multiple ways. What I find fascinating about your Enduring Minds Foundation is you actually started that before you started the business,
Right.
right? So what I would be saying is if you have a business, you need to be looking for ways that are appropriate for you to give back to the community, right, in whatever way that is meaningful. And you've reversed that, right? You actually started your foundation giving back, and then along the way decided that, hey, let's start a business here.
Yes. Well, I wouldn't say it's the reverse. I think it's just a part of the journey because I've been able to learn from Enduring Minds that it should be a passion and a requirement for businesses to also care about community because, like I said, we all have so much that we can give, and even more so for businesses. Even if you're not a business that's extremely profitable, you can affect someone's life in the smallest way. So learning from Enduring Minds, we've been able to include that in E&E Co. So we give back to anyone. Any nonprofit organization can contact us. We will do a cause campaign to raise money for your organization. We donated over $600 to charity last year, to different charities. So we support all different types of organizations. We become a sponsor for events because, like you said, community, the people in our community here in Columbus and all across the country where we sell teas, they want to have us at our event. They support us. They help us to be able to go towards our goal of generational wealth. So
Right.
it's only right that we're able to do the same to them to help them raise money. Even if it's $80, that's something that can help someone. And I think sometimes companies don't know, businesses may not know or understand you don't have to have a lot of money to give back. You don't have to donate thousands and thousands of dollars. You can make effective change just by being a part of the community and showing up when they ask you to.
Yeah, that's a wonderful point, right? Because every time, a lot of times with businesses, you hear the community piece that they're like, oh no,
Right.
more money going out the door.
Right.
And look, as you mentioned, some companies, they're at times they're not as profitable as others, right?
Right.
And we're not talking about giving out profits and living on nothing.
Right.
That's not what we're talking about. There are ways to be engaged in community that are cost efficient.
Right. And it's just finding small ways to do it.
Right.
The fall season is a very popular time for tea. It's getting cold. People want to stock up on their favorites before the holidays. It's a very popular time. So instead of donating money, what we do is when we make too much in blends or when we have leftovers from large orders, say we get a very large order of peppermint. Anything that's left after that order, we bag it and we donate it to food shelters. That's taking nothing from us.
That's a luxury item going to a food shelter, which is almost unheard of.
That's taking nothing from us.
Right.
And it's actually helping us because now we don't have waste.
Right.
So we've given back in more than one way because we've eliminated waste that's not going to negatively affect our planet.
Right.
We've been able to help somebody have a warm drink in a place where typically you may not feel like people care or, whatever your situation is. It's just all those things. And that's tea that that's money we didn't have to give. That's tea that we don't have to throw away. That I don't have to count at the end of the year that we didn't sell because somebody else was able to benefit from it. And of course there are benefits to it that I think people don't want to be honest about. Doing these things also have benefits because those same people, they see our logo on the tea. That potentially may be a customer someday. That may be a customer someday. Right. Our next customer may be the director of the food bank. Those are things that may positively affect your business, but you're still giving back and it costs you nothing. You've helped people, even if you get no sales from it. We'll never be able to say if any of those people came back and bought tea, but it feels so good to be able to say that we didn't throw something away. We were able to donate it. And even the money that comes from doing cause campaigns and things like that, again, it's easy. It's easy, and it's something everybody can do. Every business can find a way to give back, and I think we should. Our communities would be better for it, and they may support small businesses more.
There's another side to it as well. So if you have employees, and employees are given the opportunity to be engaged in the community, it actually reinforces the value system and the values that you're trying to push into your company.
No.
Right? Because your employees, it's not just words on the wall, right? Or text on the wall.
They see us doing it.
This is action, right? And action speaks louder than words. And so, your employees see that, they see, and it carries over into how they would treat your customers. And again, your employees are or distributors are that last link
between your
to the customer. And it's critical that you complete that link effectively. All right. Well, that concludes our podcast here today with Essence Unique of ENE Tea Co. Entrepreneur, dedicated to her vision and her mission, and hopefully an inspiration to all entrepreneurs out there wanting to build their business around their value system in terms of who they are. Till next time, goodbye. Thanks for listening to the Building Better Business podcast. To stay up on the latest episodes, be sure to subscribe. And go to focus4c.com to sign up for a weekly newsletter for more stories and practical applications.